Hello and welcome. My name is Mark and today we are on the coast of Ecuador. Now obviously this guy is not a tick. This is a crab who's digging a hole, and my initial idea was to film these guys running about their business, but I ran into a small problem. That is our dog Tasha, and she was just obsessed with hunting the crabs when she found out they were there. Cattle also didn't help with my filming, and of course with cattle come along parasites, in particular this tiny little parasite, the blood-sucking tick. A tick's goal in life is to climb to the top of a little stem of grass and then quest for an animal to come past and grab onto it and hitch a ride. It will then climb down through the fur and the hair and find a nice warm spot such as an armpit or an ear where it can burrow its face into the skin and then start sucking the animal's blood. And of course, Tasha got covered in them. Okay, because we check our dogs every day, all of those ticks that we found on Tasha were quite easy to remove. We found about 20 in all, and I'll put a few of them aside for the next section, but I'm not going to show any footage of them burrowing into the skin and actually inflating and with blood and stuff. You can do a Google image search for ticks and you'll get lots of gory pictures to look at if you want to see that. But what I have done, some people may think this is cruel, but it's not. I've glued a little tick to the end of this hypodermic needle. It's a non-toxic glue and he's still alive. And what I have, a macro setup, a super macro setup, which should give us some really close-in pictures of this little critter here. So let's have a look at some of the features that let him do what he does really, really well, and that is climbing onto animals and sucking their blood. Let's go. How awesome is that? Now all this movement, I'm pretty sure it's a reflex action just so he can flip himself back over, but obviously he's not going to be able to do that because he's glued down. And you can see on the top of his head there, those two black dots. They look like what's left to be eyes. They've obviously evolved away, he doesn't need eyes anymore. Maybe they can just sense light. Now underneath and to the side you can see how his skin is really white and kind of wrinkly. This is where he inflates and his whole back half of his body can fill with blood, and that white skin can stretch a huge amount. Just Google ticks again and have a look at some of the images of an inflated tick, and the size difference is enormous. And you can also see how he's moving his head back and forth there. Now that neck, it can only move one way, and that makes it very mechanically strong. And once his head is in there, if you've ever tried to pull one off, they're incredibly hard to pull out. And that movement allows for, just say if the animal is scratching or something like that, it'll sort of help prevent the tick from getting dislodged easily. Now this is amazing. Look at that. Look at those two bits on the side of his head. They just stick out there and they've got little hairs on them. Are they sensor? I don't know what they are. Are they little anchors? And what's that part in the middle there? Is that a tongue? You know, and oh wow, check that out. So what does he do? Does he push his head in there and then open those jaws to start everything bleeding and then suck it out with a bit in the middle? You know, I'm not sure exactly how it's done. Under his armpits there, do you think those wedge type structures are used to push in the opposite direction so he can push his head into the flesh? Just an idea, but it might be what they're for. I have seen these guys climb glass, and with those two little hooks on the end there, you can see the curved pad underneath. They must be the perfect foot for attaching themselves onto smooth surfaces and hairs for that matter as well, given the width of those two little claws. Remember, I'm just speculating here, so if you have any other opinions or you know a bit more about this than I do, please let me know in the comments below. I've really enjoyed watching these little monsters that we found by the seaside, and they're just absolutely amazing little creatures. Kind of disgusting, but still amazing in their own little way. Now, if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. The next video, I've no idea what it's going to be. It's going to be whatever I feel like doing or whatever I feel interesting, but it will be some sort of little creatures or big creatures, who knows. The name of the channel is Biodiversity Shorts, and please subscribe below. Thanks for watching.